Okay, in fact, welcome. We haven't done an Oh My God segment in a long time. This isn't going to be a religious figure. This is Ted Cruz. So, what's happening is in the Senate, in the U.S. Senate, money has corrupted politics so bad that we can't even get a background check on guns passed when 90% of the American public want it to happen. It doesn't happen. And why is that? That's because gun manufacturers have a lot of money and they give it to people to run against other people who want to pass laws that would maybe curtail some of the sales of some of the guns, right? So they get a politician who's responsive to their needs because they give him money. More importantly, not only do they give that politician money, but they're willing to spend money on his opposition if that politician doesn't go along with them. So they don't want the NRA to give money to other people to run against them. It's all about money, 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 and fear, right? So Chuck Schumer and Tom Udall have introduced a resolution or an amendment, right? So the way you get money out of politics is you have to have an amendment, right? Because the Supreme Court has said that free money equals speech, and you have to amend the Constitution now to get money out of politics. So they've to combat the Citizens United ruling and the McCutcheon ruling. Am I saying that correctly, McCutcheon? Yes. So those two rulings. Basically, there's no more campaign finance laws. Basically, there's like maybe two left, and Dinesh D'Souza figured out how to break one of them. So anyway, so we'll do a thing on him. It's so funny. He got caught breaking campaign finance laws. He had to plead guilty. Anyway, so they have introduced this bill. It's not a bill. It's an amendment. It's not going to pass. It needs to get 2/3 vote in the Senate and in the House. Not going to happen. They can't even pass a gun bill when it's got 90% of the public backing it. So they're not going to do this. But they just kind of, I guess, made a symbolic gesture. And Harry Reid has even talked about it, that we're going to need an amendment to get money out of politics. Now, I think everybody, when I say everybody, I mean most people in America would agree that's good to get money out of politics. So now we can have a real debate that it isn't sullied, isn't tarnished by money interest, right? So we're going to have real ideas and a real discussion. So Ted Cruz was giving a speech somewhere. Oh, he was getting ready to introduce even crazier than him, his father, Ted Cruz, which I think his father's name is Crazy Cruz, and CC Ryder. And so here's Ted Cruz talking about the Chuck Schumer bill. And here we go.
And I'll tell you, when you think it can't get any worse, it does. This year, I'm sorry to tell you, the United States Senate is going to be voting on a constitutional amendment to repeal the First Amendment.
And did you hear the crowd? Oh no, Satanism! So Satanist! What is that? I can't believe it! I can't believe it! I can't. Did you hear? Potter's paying 50 cents on a dollar. I can't believe it! Potter's paying 50 cents on the dollar. So he goes on. Let's listen to more of this.
I am telling you, I am not making this up. Senator Chuck Schumer has announced the Senate Democrats are scheduling a vote on a constitutional amendment to give Congress the plenary power, the unlimited authority to regulate political speech. Because elected officials have...
Could you hear the people moaning?
Yeah, oh my God.
I'm like, is Andy Kindler getting ready to do a set? Because the crowd's already pre-moaned and the silverware is mic'd.
Mic check on the cutlery.
It's like, really, like the cutlery is mic'd. That's how, here we go, we'll keep going.
Decided they don't like it when the citizenry has the temerity to criticize what they've done. They don't like it when pastors in their community stand up and speak the truth.
Yeah, that's what it is, Ted. They want to squelch pastors. That's why they introduced it's not about getting Koch brothers money or Sheldon Adelson money out of or oil money out of government. No. It's about shutting down pastors who are going to say something that they don't like to hear. But the guy's good. You have to give it to him, right? I mean, the guy, he knows how to scare the crap out of the people who he's talking to, which is exactly what he wants to do. Get them afraid of everything. Tell them something outrageous, and he's got inside information. By the way, that's what, who, huh? He's got it all going on. He's got it. He's a master.
Pastors will be very upset that they can no longer funnel money through their super PAC.
He's got a little bit more to say.
And it makes their lives inconvenient when they're not standing for principle, and actually that's pointed out back home. And I'll note this amendment, which has 41 Democratic senators as co-sponsors. 41 Democrats.
You hear the crowd? Oh, goddamn Democrat. They're the most easily riled up bunch of people.
This is all those drama queens in the crowd. They're gasping like an audience at an old Victorian melodrama.
Yes. I never.
Have signed on to repealing the First Amendment. It explicitly says nothing in this new amendment shall abridge the freedom of the press. So the New York Times is protected.
Wow.
But it doesn't say the same thing about the freedom of speech. It doesn't say the same thing about religious liberty. What it says is that politicians in Washington have unlimited constitutional authority to muzzle each and every one of you if you're saying things that government finds inconvenience. Yep. And I'll tell.
Yep, that's exactly what's happening.
I haven't heard a crowd so upset since Dane Cook did a set at Largo.
The audience sounds like they're at WWF and Andy Kaufman is wrestling a woman.
I was pretty.
Ted Cruz, he says the amendment doesn't abridge the freedom of the press. And he says it as if that's a bad thing. And the audience gets angry.
Yes.
Am I hearing that wrong?
No, well put. But it doesn't abridge the freedom of the press. And they do get angry. That is correct. I didn't even notice that. That is so funny.
You know what? When that guy in the audience yelled out, "Whoa!" He sounded like Billy Batts in Goodfellas when Joe Pesci said, "Hey, watch the suit."
He did. Oh, he did. Mark, did you have something to say?
Yeah, he said that the amendment doesn't say anything about religious liberties. Now, if I was a religious person, wouldn't that be a good thing? That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, but he's tricking them
he's
into
trying to make it.
He's trying to say, like, look, they're not protecting your religious liberty. They're gonna trample on it.
But he says that the amendment doesn't say anything about religious liberties.
Right.
So he's just saying things that are not in the amendment. So it's like saying, this amendment doesn't say anything about dogs pooping on sidewalks.
Right.
Isn't that horrible?
Yes.
This amendment says nothing about circus bears riding bicycles. When will the insanity end?
Yeah.
And he said about the freedom of speech of the press, about the New York Times. So if there was an amendment to abridge the speech of David Brooks, I would support that.
Ha! Me too. Me too.
And he said inconvenient. He kept on saying things that the government finds inconvenient. I don't think the government has ever found money inconvenient.
Right.
Money is many things, but inconvenient is not one of them.
So that's
and
how.
What about that? What about that crowd? Wow, that crowd was hot.
They were ready. They're ready to hear his dad talk.
I've performed for that crowd several times.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I had them. That was in a private one time. It was no fun.